Welcome back to the Tom and D podcast. Tom.
Oh, man, what a crazy 3 weeks it's been. I know you are aware that I have moved, and if you're watching the digital version of this, which comes out a week later, you will see I'm in a room full of boxes.
Right. That's not your background that you selected?
I could have selected something like that because they do have different backgrounds, but I don't know if I've seen one with the moving boxes and disarray.
Right.
Tom and D.
Two middle-aged idiots?
Well, I'm kind of out of my skull right now because I've been traveling and just got back super late last night. So
Tell me where you've been, because I know it was overseas.
I just did a quick trip I flew into Brussels, hopped a train to Amsterdam, filmed there for a couple of days, and then quick flight to Dublin, filmed there for a couple of days, and then back late last night. So
basically you just smoked pot and drank beer in the two places you were at.
I wish of course I had that opportunity, but no, I was very lucid. It was solid work. Even when I was back in my hotel room after filming or before, it was just transferring footage, charging batteries, trying to charge my own batteries.
No time for the red light district for Darren.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'll make up for it next time I go back.
Well, we got a lot of catching up to do, especially with your new move and living next door, literally next door to my sister.
I'm looking through her window right now, out the window in front of me.
You are a peeping Tom. We know
literally and figuratively, yes.
Right, exactly. Well, hey, I don't want to waste too much time here talking our own shtick and shit, but I want to just start off by just going on a little rant.
Yes, do so.
I don't rant too often.
No.
I'm not that get
You're
off
not
my
a Karen.
lawn. No,
You're not a
I'm
male
not a Karen. No, definitely not a Darren. If you were,
you're a Darren,
if it were.
not a Karen.
Right. But a lot of people send me videos. These little short TikToks, and sometimes they're funny, sometimes not so funny. I know everyone's sense of humor is different, and a lot of times, these things are AI generated, and I don't have a problem with that. Sometimes it's funny, even though it's AI generated.
Yeah, like I see this one guy delivering a big fat guy delivering food and falling through the front porch. I mean, it's obvious that it's AI generated, but it's still kind of funny.
And that's fine.
Right.
And I know it's all subjective what humor is and what fine is, but for me, when something is created in a way to where somebody's not taking responsibility and labeling it as AI generated, or at least it's not so obvious, to the user, that's when I have a problem with
it.
And oftentimes I'll get sent something. Even my mom sent me something. It was this stroller that was rolling off of this little concrete platform. It's like, oh, isn't that cute? This dog saved it. And like, Mom, that's not real. She's like, why would they fake that? I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's innocuous seemingly, but it's still not real. Probably the reason why is maybe they just want clicks and shares and, try to generate, more followers.
Audience, right?
Maybe it's something far more nefarious, where somebody's testing out, to see what works and trying to see if that tricks people so that they can use it in a way that is more, having some sort of negative push for something. I don't know, there's all sorts of reasons, but that video, along with a couple of other videos, it got me to following this guy, today's guest. He's great at really recognizing videos that are AI generated. And sometimes they're real videos and then have an AI component that's added. So he'll try to break it down and really try to show the people that are watching why and how to recognize things as being AI generated. And it's important. It's important to have that AI video literacy. Yeah. And he is a leader, again, in creating a smarter, more transparent conversation about how important that AI video literacy is. And he's trying to educate people on that. And while he's doing that, it's also really entertaining to watch. So
Sure.
I don't want to hesitate anymore. Hopefully I won't mispronounce his last name. Carrasco? I'm going to let him pronounce it. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's Carrasco, but it's
Carrasco,
been
I
pronounced
knew
multiple
that.
ways. It's all good. It's all good.
Sorry. I was like, as soon as I said that, I was like, okay, this is my jet lag coming into play
all
here.
good.
Right.
If your name would have been Smith, he still would have screwed it up.
Smythe. Jeremy, thank you so much for being a part of this. And
Of course.
can you explain what you do, why you do it, and why it even matters?
Yeah, it's funny because what I've done hasn't been around for very long, so I do find the need to introduce it like from like first principles, as they say these days, which is that AI video is something that very, very few people understand at all. So the idea that these videos that look so realistic are from nowhere, I think is just conceptually just a huge thing for people to jump. So that's the first thing is like this is all brand new. And I like to start from the very beginning here, which is that AI video has not been around that long. A lot of people still don't even know it exists. Like it is that new. A lot of the people who are watching these shorts literally don't know AI video is a thing and they just assume that they're watching
Like
real
Darren's
videos.
mom.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Right.
it in you know we can get into why. So the gap that I have been filling recently is AI video literacy and education. It's really a part of media literacy. It's not its own individual skill. It's really how do you understand what you're watching and why it might be AI video, why it might not be AI video. Because honestly, a lot of the videos I get sent are real videos, and people
Yeah.
are just really paranoid right now. So yeah, and the reason I do it is because I mean it's a couple. I mean, there's just like an everyday need for us to have a solid understanding of the world, and because so many of us spend all our time on vertical video platforms or wherever else, it's slowly our reality has slowly shifted there, but now reality is escaping there. So it's like I don't want that to pull us with it, right? And that's a big part of it. And the second part is because it does tie into a larger media and technology landscape that I think is really difficult for people to navigate of like, why would someone create this video? Like, what's in it for them? Like, what's in it for the people who are, creating the models to make people, to allow people to make these videos. So there's just a lot into, in the entire AI video ecosystem to digest. And it's just hitting people so hard. It's too much for people to digest all at once. So my goal is just to break all those steps down.
Right. And as a producer of content myself, oftentimes I'll use, generative fill, I'll use AI tools to, remove things or maybe add things. And, it's done in a way to where, it's not trying to, I guess, fool the viewer. So I feel like I'm using it in a responsible way. And in essence, it's really just visual effects at that point, which there's, in my mind, at least, there's a very different category of visual effects versus AI, where AI, to me, you're almost like letting the sort of computer, if you will, decide what's happening. And maybe you're giving it some prompts and it's interpreting that off of things that it draws from, where visual effects is more like animation and it takes a craft and a skill to do it. I don't know where I'm going with that, but can you kind of discern the difference between those and why that part of it matters too?
Yeah, for sure. So, I think that a lot of people in the industry broadly do draw the line of like where VFX starts and, cameras end. I think they really want to keep the camera part intact, but, there's definitely a fuzzy line there. When I started Show Tools, which is what I called it, I had a lot of optimism that I was going to be able to find like productive, ethical ways to use AI in my in my production life. So I had a green screen. I was excited about trying out a bunch of different backgrounds, or like, I'm not a great graphics person, so I was excited
How about
about
that
virtual film.
background I
That
have?
could be cool too.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just like, okay, I'm optimistic that I can find something here. What it generally came down to for me is like, generative fill for Photoshop is like a relatively straightforward thing for people to use. Seems like in the spirit of Photoshop, of editing photos, maybe like doing some compositions there. It's improving those workflows in a way that I think, some people that follow me would call that unethical anyway, because it's probably from stolen material. So, if you have ethical problems with that, then sure, like a lot of people would even draw the line there, and they would just say, just use assets that you directly own. I don't necessarily think that it's easy to tell, or my role to tell people what is and isn't right. That's not really what I'm interested in. If people want to enjoy fully AI generated media, like that's totally fine. I think that it ultimately does come down to transparency and what you're using it for, and if how deceptive the intentions are. But then there are people who would just say that from the start, it's just not an ethical thing to do, because it's a lot of it's stolen. I'm very sympathetic to the people who have that perspective, and I've slowly kind of drifted more towards that perspective, which is that I'm a good enough producer that I don't. It's like if I can avoid it, I will. Is the way that I'm thinking about it now. Just because I don't find it to be that much more helpful than my normal workflows before, and if I can avoid making people angry, then I will. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it now. And
Right.
that's changed though over the past. I would say over the past 4 months. Like I used to be a little bit more open to it, and that I've slowly kind of shifted as I've seen like the macro picture change.
Do you think that there should be an asterisk or maybe some sort of a disclaimer when someone does share something that is completely AI generated, where it says something like this is not real or this was AI generated, just uh, to to make people understand the difference or help them understand or not believe stupid things like the fat guy falling through the porch while delivering food?
Yeah, I think that there should be required watermarking, or at least required invisible watermarking through metadata that the platforms can interpret. So, I mean, for example, the ones that you've been seeing recently, Sora is what's generating most of those. It's the
Mhm.
OpenAI video AI. So, it's pretty interesting because the way that you're seeing those right now is usually like if there's a Sora watermark on it, you can assume that the way the person was able to post that is that they went on the Sora application on their desktop, they screen recorded it, they basically like scraped it off of their profile and then reposted it to TikTok or Instagram. And in that case, it's not very traceable. But the way that Sora is supposed to work is you're supposed to keep it in the app as much as they would like you to. And then if you want to bring something outside of the app, you're supposed to use the API or some sort of like officially traceable way. And the benefit of that is if you use the API, which I can get into that depending on like the how technically you want to get here. When you use the API, the video you get has metadata that says that it's from Sora. So if you upload that to a platform like Instagram, theoretically, Instagram could look at that metadata and say, "Hey, this is AI generated. Hey,
But
viewer, this
but they're
is
not really
AI
doing
generated."
that. I mean, you know,
Yeah, the incentive. That's because they're not
sometimes
thinking of
it's
all the
obvious.
incentives.
Sometimes
Right.
it's obvious. Like I saw Trump getting interviewed and he kept on getting hit in the head with the microphone. And
Yeah.
obviously that didn't really happen. I'm sure you've both seen that video. But what happens when something they make me put me in a place that makes me look I'm doing something illegal or something immoral or unethical, then suddenly it's like, well, wait a second, dude, I didn't do that. And
Hmm.
but then they'll say, well, is that AI or isn't that AI? I hate to use Trump as an example because we don't really talk politics on here. But every time there's something, he'll say, that's a fake video. That's a fake video. That's
Yep.
AI. And it's kind of like people should know up front. Like you said, a watermark, not just for someone like you to go in there and see that it's metadata, but something on the screen that says this is AI generated, not real. Enjoy the humor.
But it takes an
Yeah,
honest broker to
Yeah.
want to do
correct.
that. So,
Well, it's also, I don't think I mean,
what's their incentive?
we have to, we also like, I think that we are all media literate enough to understand why this system is broken. It's like, if you give people the ability to freely generate AI videos on like an app called Sora that no one else is on, like they're not going to keep those videos on Sora. They're going to
Right.
they're going to screen grab them and post them other places where there are actual audiences. Did OpenAI think this through? No. That's my like, no, they didn't think this all the way through.
No.
Or they were too cynical not to care, which is I think is actually the real answer. I think that they do know these things. They're not dumb people. I just think that they're cynical enough to just let us all figure it out and let us all deal with the consequences of it.
And there's also a workaround for everything. So you put a watermark on something, and it doesn't take the deep post-production skills to be able to cover up a watermark, or if somebody's hair or the grass is, it has these weird artifacts, you can mask over that and put a layer of something that is a little bit more believable. And something you have to do a really a deep dive and look at it almost pixel by pixel. And I remember the early days of DVDs where, it was like, oh, you can't rip this DVD because it has this encryption. And there was like a simple low-tech workaround. I remember going around the edge with a black Sharpie, and that allowed you to be able to pop in the DVD and just be able to rip it. Not that I ever did that, but I heard about it.
The good news is that the Sora application, when it generates these videos, the watermark is in predictable places. Yeah. So, and when it is scrubbed, it's almost always visible in one way or another. And so, a lot of my job in my recent videos has just been showing people how oh yeah, I can see that the watermark was scrubbed right here. Oh, I can see that the person cut around the watermark because I know the patterns that the watermark goes on. I've seen so many of these now. But yeah, I mean, but the API outputs. So like if you get a video from Sora outside of the Sora app, those have no watermarks, just straight up none. So, it's not, I hope I definitely, I'm going to be explaining these things because I understand that, but not because I think that they make sense. I think I should state up front to the audience that like, I disagree with how this has been rolled out. I think that this has been reckless. I think that the AI companies are generally developing technologies and not thinking about the social responsibility they have. And they push a lot of those fears into a distant, far off future where they're worried about robots taking over. But really, like, we're already slowly seeing, very negative consequences of these tools that they're unleashing onto the public.
Right. And even if it is something innocuous, like the stroller rolling off or the fat guy going through the concrete, I think it's really important to sort of recognize what AI content is. Even if the video is 99% real, but manipulated in part, it's important to understand that, to be able to, sort of protect that integrity of, human expression and the record of truth.
Well, and I think, because I know that there will be a lot of professionals listening and being like, okay, well, how can I implement this safe? It's like they feel the pressure to try it out. They want to implement it. What I did on my pages is I put just like a little bit of an AI usage statement. So I just said, for example, like, you will never see me and my face AI generated unless it's for a demo, and I will explicitly tell you, like, I may use AI to generate backgrounds. I may use AI to, I say I will use AI to speed up transcription for me, right? So like, if you're going to use it, just like telling people where you're using it is important. And it's not because everyone's going to read that. It's because you don't want suspicious people calling you out for things that you're not doing.
Right.
So it's very important for me and my viewers to know that I just straight up will never represent myself as AI. It's a hard line. I won't do it. I will never cross it. You don't need to be paranoid about that, right? So I think that as producers and as, if we're implementing these for clients as well, like, our clients should understand what the risks are when they're implementing these and be transparent about them. Because if you show that you know how to use AI and people start figuring out, all bets are off. People would be like, wait, what else are they using it for? What else? You get paranoid, and then you get the mob on you. So it's just better to just like put it out up front. And if you are afraid of putting it out up front, then you have to be honest. You are just expecting that your audience will be dumb and not be open to this. But this has not gone well for companies that have done it and tried to get away from it. Like, people are hawkish about this right now because they're freaked out about it. So it's been a difficult lesson for a few people to learn that they can't just sneak it in there and not get the mob on them at this point.
Absolutely, because once that erodes, it feels like truth becomes negotiable.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
and you need to be responsible for it. Just like a good journalist, you need to say, okay, this is the truth as I know it. I hate to say truth. These are the facts as I know it. This is the information as I know it. And sometimes even journalists have to do a correction based on further evidence. This is what I found out, so I need to do a correction to this. Do you ever have to do that in your work?
Had to do it once. It was really embarrassing. I had a really low sleep day. I got freaked out. I thought that a real video was AI because they put it through a pretty heavy AI upscaler, and it was a pretty bizarre scenario. So I detected like heavy AI upscaling, and I concluded the whole video.
Meaning, I'm sorry, just to interrupt.
Yeah, I can step back. Sorry.
No, just for upscaling for our audience, it was probably done in a low resolution, and it was upscaled to be a higher resolution. So,
yeah. And actually, I can explain, because this is really interesting. Is it was a video that originated in China on the Chinese version of TikTok called Douyin, which is not visible to us. And it was downloaded, which, ate up some of the resolution for sure. And then they upscaled it and uploaded it to TikTok. Well, at the time, the upscaling was pretty heavy, and it was heavier than I was used to. So I assumed it's like, oh, wow, this is really good. So I got kind of freaked out, and I released that video. And then someone sent me the original version from the Chinese site, and I felt really dumb. And the original was obviously not AI generated. It had it was very clearly a real video. So had I seen that one, it would save me the embarrassment. But luckily I haven't, and I don't think I will ever, especially after that episode. I now have built different processes to not make that mistake again. Just, that was really embarrassing. I was amazed that the community was, understanding of the mistake. Cause I mean, it's just like a normal, people make these mistakes, but for me, I'm, anything that goes out on my Show Tools pages, I, from now on, want it to be 100% certainty, which is an unrealistic expectation, but I'm at least going to strive to get there.
Yeah. So do you do a disclaimer, something like, I have strong evidence to suspect that it's really well done, and I'm not quite sure, but it appears to be AI, at least in this part, because I know sometimes it can be a real video, but just manipulated slightly.
But that is AI, honestly, though, when you do that, though. I mean,
well, but I mean, it was just like this, a couple of frames or this one little segment,
Well, the first thing is, I can think of at least one or two videos where I've done where it's like, guys, this is the one part that was manipulated. And I explain that really clearly. Yeah. And I try to only do videos where I am 100% sure, because the difference between, to be honest, I have over 350,000 followers across all my platforms. Like, if I make an accusation, it reaches people. So I need to be 100% sure. So I'm not going to, if I'm 90% sure about something, I'm not going to do a video about that, because I'm not going to count on all those followers understanding all that nuance, right?
Right.
But I will do, like, Nitro Circus, for example, is an example. They're a relatively traditional media brand. They had an edit that was a VFX edit that was a small part of their video, and people were calling it AI, and I backed them up. Like, this isn't AI, this is VFX. This is why you need to know that, right? So I do try to get into those nuances when they are there. But I'm just going to be honest, most of the videos that go really viral that are AI generated are pretty easy. I mean, there's still it's pretty easy. Like, I'll have 100% certainty, because like a lot of them just are clearly covering up the watermark and have brutal AI artifacts, So a lot of the times I don't need a disclaimer. It's like, no, I'm 100% sure about this one, because this is pretty blatant.
Especially when it's like Abe Lincoln in a video saying something. It's like, I know that's not Abe.
No, that's real, man. That's real. Do you think that, it's almost rhetorical asking this, because I feel like the answer is yes, but the more you kind of learn what to look for, not just with watermarks, but those little nuances, like, okay, things don't move that way, or, see how the grass is moving or the hair. Look for those. Do you think that the more you're aware of that these become easier to spot for the user or the viewer?
No, I think that they're getting harder. People have asked me like if I've gotten faster at identifying AI videos, and the answer is the good ones, no, because the good ones are always getting better. So if I can just give an example, Sora 2, which is the one that goes the most viral,
That's scary. Oh man, I saw that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Sora 2 Pro is scary. Sora
yeah.
2 regular is honestly pretty easy to see, but there have been a few videos that have started getting out there that are Sora 2 Pro, which again are detectable to like media professionals, but to the regular person it's going to be a little bit of like an oh shit moment when they realize that that was AI. But what I'll say is that I have two beliefs that I have to hold in my brain at the same time. The first is that AI video, because of the nature of how it's made, will always be detectable to some degree. It is just starting from an entirely random process and gradually filtered down into something that's real. Like there will be artifacts, but even so, I think this audience will understand this. Like you can see the difference between an iPhone and a cinema camera. You just can. You
Yeah.
can't do that. You can do as much post processing as you want. Like an expert cinematographer will, at the end of the day, be like, no, that's an iPhone. I can tell it's an iPhone. 99% of the people watching will not have any idea, right? But when it comes down to it, it is the physical process of an iPhone and its small lens and its smaller sensor that no matter what you do, you can't get it to quite look like an anamorphic cinema lens. Just not going to happen, right? And I believe that long term, even as these AI models get near perfect, there will still be a look to it. Just like there's a look to different cameras, there's still going to be a look to that physical, or in this case, non-physical process that makes the video. So that's the first thing. But people already can't tell that AI videos are AI, right? So you have to hold those things in your brain. It's like, how are you going to communicate this reality that there are definitely ways to tell, and yet most people can't see those, especially if their eyesight's not good. There's no
Yeah.
way you're going to be able to train an 80-year-old with poor eyesight how to spot Sora 2 Pro. It's not happening. I mean, you can. So what do? Well, you can tell them it's like, well, you could look at the profile and realize that this is clearly not a profile you should trust. So there are ways you can
Right.
do it otherwise, right? So you can say, well, this profile is of a UPS person who's overweight and falls through a porch. I think that's about the example you gave. Well, all of their other videos are of a FedEx person falling through a porch, or like a DHL person falling through a porch, or like that's a tell that that was AI generated because they just put the same prompt over and over into the AI generator and they just want one of these videos to go viral. That's how a lot of this happens. It's not deceptive. It's just like these accounts are just posting these to go viral. And you look at their accounts and they're selling AI courses, or they might even tell you like these are AI generated, So it doesn't take much to just, if you just do a little bit of media literacy research,
Right.
you can pretty quickly figure it out.
Make the teacher that you hate the most in your, seventh grade English class, make her fall through the, what I'm saying? It's kind of like do it
Yeah.
yourself. If you like this video, take anyone you know and make him fall through the porch.
Well, I will say that the one thing that OpenAI has built into Sora is that you can't do that yet. So, like, you can do the friends that you have on Sora who have let their cameos or
Yeah.
their personas
Like
be
Jake Paul.
deepfakeable,
Right.
like Jake Paul,
Right.
or I'm on Sora, but I let no one create videos with me, and I don't let anyone
How do
see
you
any of
how
my
do you not
posts.
let them? I mean,
Oh, it's the default. You just say no. You have to, in order for Sora to create a deep fake of you, or what they call a cameo, you have to, I mean, when you join the app, they automatically face scan you. So just joining the app, you get a face scan. There's no avoiding that. But then right when you're joining the app, you set the permissions. You say who can create a cameo of you. It's like only me, only my friends, or everyone. And for me, I picked only me, and then I never posted.
Right.
I basically
And of
just
course,
don't
that
do
will
it.
never be hacked. So
this
I
fat
know, right?
so this
Right.
fat guy that falls through the porch delivering, you're telling me that he allowed someone to use his
No, he's probably
No.
not a real person.
Yeah.
He's probably a completely made
But
up
what about
AI
when you
person.
see someone who's a celebrity, like you see Brad Pitt walk into there and you're like, dude, Brad Pitt wouldn't have done that.
Well, I don't think you've seen Brad Pitt doing it. So I think you got it, and this is where the literacy part comes in. It's like, okay, who's done it? So here are a few celebrities that anytime I see a video of them now, and this is what they've done to themselves. This is why I tell people, don't cross this line. Don't do it, because once you cross the line, now every time I see you, I'm going to be skeptical. Mark Cuban, Jake Paul, two really good examples, right? Anytime I see a Mark Cuban or Jake Paul video on TikTok, I assume it is AI generated because they joined Sora and they let people create videos with them, right?
Right.
Obviously, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, he's probably in 20% of all videos on Sora. I've counted.
Yeah.
Right? So anytime I see a video with Sam Altman, now it's like, is this AI? Is
Right.
it? I don't know. Right. And of course I do know because I can look, but like it's that first impression of like, I don't know if I trust this. But this is the thing, because I think you're asking the right question, which is who can be generated on Sora, which is like anonymized people. So like a lot of the videos you see that go viral are just of the prompt like UPS driver walks up to porch and falls through. And then Sora will just generate a generic UPS driver, however it sees fit. Now, there have been exceptions. So if you are like a deceased celebrity, then so far they've let people generate that, which I think is incredibly messed up. I will just say that. And that has so far gotten pulled back. So like if you see Bob Ross or Stephen Hawking or Albert Einstein, like these are all people, if you go on the Sora app, you're going to see a lot of them. Martin Luther King Jr.'s estate had to pull him down because they were getting a lot of pretty awful MLK videos.
Mr. Rogers, right?
Mr. Rogers, Mr. Rogers, probably some of the most. Yeah. So,
oh God, some of them are horrible. The
some of them are really horrible.
Ones.
Yeah. Some of them, like, I've seen videos of like Bob Ross beating Stephen Hawking. Like, some of these are awful, right? And like, so the three types of people that are on Sora, in short, are people who have given Sora access to create deepfakes of them, deceased celebrities, or generic random OpenAI generated people.
But what about when you see like someone like a Donald Trump or someone who is obviously a celebrity and I'm sure he's not on Sora, whatever you call that.
Yeah, his face has been essentially scanned so many times though in public, so you can grab these assets that are out there and manipulate them, I would presume.
Well, it might not have been Sora. That's the other thing. Like, so if you see Donald Trump, for example, a lot of those are created by other AI video makers that don't have the limits that Sora does, because Sora will, if you generate, there are exploits that can get you to famous people that they want to block. Notably, a former chancellor of Germany. I don't know where this goes out, but people have gotten to that certain former chancellor of Germany slowly by continually changing little tiny things until they end up at the former chancellor of Germany at a TED Talk, right? So there are exploits that you can do, but most of the time when you see a Trump video, it's probably created with WAN or Kling. Like there are other AI models that are usually more based in China that let you do that.
And you can tell, because like, if I look at the teeth, like, what I'm saying, I know what Donald Trump's teeth look like, because you've seen him talk enough that when you see it, that you can tell right away that that's not his smile. That's not when he talks, his teeth don't look like that,
Yeah. And those sorts of deepfakes have been around for a long time too. But the friction to them is slipping. So you're seeing more and more of them.
Right. And the deepfakes go beyond the video aspect of it too. There's all these dangers now with, voice and getting these calls where it's like, Dad, I'm stuck so-and-so, send money right now. And it's like, oh my God, I will. And, like these things can be used for scams, whether it's video or just audio. And some of them are so real. And Tom is a voiceover actor. So it's a particular concern of his with his own voice and even just, losing work because of this AI generated world that's out there now. So
yeah, A couple of things about that. The first thing is that, especially public figures are going to need to have safe words with family members,
Yeah.
and really step that up, because
I have that with
and
my
again,
family. Yeah, I have.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think either of you joined Sora, but what I will say about Sora that was crazy to me is that they they were able to pick up my voice by saying less than 10 words. And then
Wow.
when I generate when I make a generation of my cameo on Sora, it is very accurate. They needed very, very, very little data. So already on the internet, more data about my voice is out there than what they have. Now, there needs to be someone who goes through the time of training it, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. And the other thing I'll say is that the really good the really, really good voice models currently still have decent privacy intact. So it's like they do have ways, if you're trying to, for example, like duplicate your voice, like it would have to be you authenticating that in theory. Now, open source models are slowly eating away at that safety advantage, but as of now, I think you might be okay, unless you're like a hyper celebrity that a lot of people want to deepfake, and then you're
Yeah,
in a bit of trouble.
but also, but also, like Darren mentioned, just losing jobs. I had this client that
Yeah.
I would do their videos for all of their trade shows. And, it wasn't a huge paying gig. I mean, they pay me like $300 and I would, voice this little
Yeah.
video for their trade show. But all of a sudden they said, well, let's try AI. And now they have Morgan Freeman doing their trade show, and it's kind of, it sounds kind of like that, or whatever they chose. And it's like, well, I just lost on 3 gigs a year. It's $900, but those
Yep.
things add up when you start losing clients, especially, I mean, you're never going to have an AI voice doing your major national commercials, because they, like Darren and I have discussed, you really want someone who has emotion, someone who is real, someone who can pull your heartstrings, someone who's got a human soul and a heart. And that's never going to probably change. But the little teeny things and the cheap things, if they can get, I mean, you see it all the time now, especially when you're watching, videos on Instagram and stuff, rather than paying some voice actor $70 or $100 to voice it, it's so obvious that it's AI.
Well,
Yeah.
it's ubiquitous too, though. It's not just with voice and video; it's everywhere. And
Yeah.
that's a whole
Writing.
That's not just one episode. That's endless. You
Right.
name it. Whatever profession. What's not touched by AI now?
Undertakers,
yeah.
undertakers,
I don't
funeral
know.
directors.
I mean,
I think
maybe
that there's a lot that isn't touched. Honestly, I think this is. I mean, everyone's a little bit under threat for sure, but some of that progress just depends on the industry. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you're a voiceover, I talked to a friend of mine. He does audiobooks. He's the voice actor for audiobooks, or narrator for audiobooks, and he talked to me about how he's very concerned for sure.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, there is going to be something to just hiring someone and having a person do it the way you want it to. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't even talked about how.
Yes, someone you can direct.
Yes. And
Yeah.
someone, and not only someone who can direct, someone who brings their own thing to the table, and someone
Yeah.
who brings, so one of the main things that turned me away from really leaning into AI videos was actually just that I hated making them. Oh my God, they are just so boring.
I feel like
make.
it's homogenous. I feel like everything just feels the same. Like even
Well,
if they're
it's-
completely different, it's still just I don't know. There's it all pulls from the same source. It seems like.
It does, but also, I'm not a writer. Like I'm a creator. I don't want to. If I have to start every single frame of every scene by describing the frame in written detail, just imagine how much detail we don't put down and on paper. Like there's
Yeah.
a reason storyboards exist. There's a
Right.
reason previs exists. It's because it's a better way of communicating that information, so that when you get on set and you have a camera, you don't need to describe every little prop you want in the background. You don't need to tell an actor exactly what to say and how to say it. You give a good actor a script, they
Make it,
perform
and they make
and
it
they
their
bring
own,
something to that.
and they make it their
Yeah.
own. Right.
Right.
Otherwise, if you're an AI video director, you have to bring everything to the table all yourself, working in a basement or some sort, and you're just doing it all by text. It's just, it doesn't feel intuitive to me as a creative person. And it's not rewarding. It's like there's a lot about this that is just not the best workflow for actually creative people who are used to doing videos.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, I have seen a little bit of a trend where some clients that I feel like, kind of reduced the amount of work that was coming to me. Uh, they were doing some of their own stuff that was AI generated. And now they're just kind of like, okay, this is boring.
It is.
And it just feels like, again, it's just homogenous. It's the same thing every time. We want to get back to something that's different from what everyone else is doing. So, Darren, what can you make? Here's kind of the idea. So I feel like that is a trend that's happening. And I remember with the DSLR revolution when everyone started getting their own cameras and they're like, oh, we can do production in-house. And so they bought all this equipment and they did all this stuff and they started, trying to make their own videos. Then it's like, oh, you know what? We have all this stuff, but we don't quite know how to use it.
Yeah. Well, and it reminds me of I should say that sometimes people think I'm like a Luddite or something. And like all I'm saying here is that technology will change, jobs will change, absolutely. What I'm generally pushing back on is this idea that AI video is just going to take everything over, or AI audio is going to take everything over. It's going to put everyone out of work, because the reality is these workflows are very different from traditional workflows, and clients like the touch, clients like the human side of it. So if I were an AI, if I were a producer or a creator worried about AI right now, rather than, feeling like you have to adopt it, I would figure out where it might be able to, to strengthen your human workflows and like really strengthen what you do well. But really, I'm not creating AI models of myself. Like, would it maybe save me some time to, like DaVinci Resolve has like an AI voice model where I could train DaVinci Resolve on what my voice sounds like. It could do voiceovers over B-roll. Could I do it? Maybe, but again, it's just like I feel like that I'm losing my edge, so I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Before you came on, I was thinking about how how much technology has grown and how we've really advanced our way of thinking. But it made me think of, I think it was Neil deGrasse Tyson, who said, as the area of our knowledge grows, so does the parameter of our ignorance. We're growing, we're learning new things, we're asking more questions, but by advancing that knowledge and that understanding and developing these incredible tools, which AI can be an incredible tool, but it's just that it's a tool, but it also allows us to ask more questions and allows us to investigate other areas. And so maybe to your point, we don't have to be as threatened by it. But I think it's important to understand when it's used. Back to what you do in the literacy and the importance of recognizing, even if it's innocuous, and understanding what is real, what's not, because as those lines get blurred, so can the important things.
Exactly. Well, and then there's also this side of, the reason that AI is a different type of tool is because it does have the ability to be agentic, take its own agency, work without humans in the loop at all, at least theoretically. And a lot of companies are trying this right now to varying degrees of success, but that is at least the promise. So that is why I have a strong cultural push against AI, is because I think that the humans who embrace it are more likely to actually be replaced. This is the irony of it, which is that AI is actually very easy to use, but if you're using it, you are giving the companies your data. Sora is a perfect example of this. Sora as an app, every time you put a prompt into Sora and it generates a video and you post it in the Sora app, OpenAI is getting the data on what prompt made what video and how that performed. And the reality is that they won't need you to do that in a year. Like
Yeah.
they can just analyze your prompt and just cut you out of it. So, and and as producers, we have to be honest that if this technology is so easy to use, like our clients will just bypass us completely. They won't need us there, right? So
Right.
that's why I think it is worth pushing back on this more than the DSLR in that example, because it has the opportunity to just completely cut you out, whereas the DSLR probably didn't really have that opportunity.
No, that's true. And a great example is the famous actor that doesn't really exist, Tilly Norwood. Do you know
I don't
that
want to
name?
talk about Tilly. I don't. This is an industry plant. People talk about industry plants. This is the real industry plant. When she's in a movie that succeeds, let's talk. But
Right.
other than that, it's just.
But talent agencies are already starting to sign her. I know there's a lot of pushback,
Nah.
but Tom, do you know what we're talking about?
I have no idea. I thought you were going to say Max Headroom.
No, no, it's even
Who's
worse.
Tilly Nora or whatever?
Tilly Norwood. She's not a human performer. She's I guess an AI avatar whose visuals and voice performances are just generated and by these technical systems and algorithms. I'm not explaining it right, but she's an actor. But not an actor. She's not a human actor. It's just this AI generated thing that's been put into, I guess, short films.
I was
right
dating
now,
her for a while. I guess that says a lot about me.
right.
There, think about all the actors that have been signed, or it's just like, okay, cool. Like, tell me when they're in something that's worth watching. I don't know. It's like anyone can generate a AI persona at some point. Obviously, there's a lot more behind her, but
Tilly Norwood.
not real.
Yeah, you gotta
Not
look
real.
Tilly
Okay,
Norwood.
for the audience that's listening, the video portion, Tom's holding up a picture of her right now.
And she's like got a
look
a
her up.
coffee, and she's standing in front of a coffee.
Here's the thing.
cup.
Cool. This is my take on this. Cool. You guys have fun, but here's the thing. Like, Hollywood has built its reputation on prestige and like palace intrigue and all these things, right?
Yeah.
That is not going to happen with AI people. They're going to be a dime a dozen. There is no, if Tilly Norwood starts hitting it big, she's going to be nothing because there's nothing holding anyone else back from doing
There's
that.
going to be a
So it
million
just doesn't make
Tillys around,
sense.
Yeah,
it's like
Exactly.
better looking, better whatever, hair, better.
I do think that AI avatars and like AI people are going to be a big part of the culture for sure. Like it's going to be a thing. It's not with some portion of the culture, but this is not the next Angelina Jolie, guys. Like, she is just an AI person. Like no one's going to care.
Well, Brad Pitt might try to date her though.
So, Jeremy, is there? I know we've kind of embedded this messaging, within our conversation, but are there any like final words that you want people to hear that is a strong takeaway about what you do and the importance of understanding the differences between AI generated videos and not?
Yeah, I mean, I really just want to leave with the fact that it's really more about just understanding. I think that like this group will probably find this conversation is like, oh yeah, I can see the difference of AI videos. Like, what's the difference? But that's because we all have experience in this industry. We've worked here. We understand like the incentives of why things are made. It is my experience that most people are so disconnected from that just getting past the basics is the hard part. My experience has been once people understand the patterns of what types of AI videos are out there, even they don't need to be great pixel peepers. It's like they understand like, okay, on this platform, if I see a puppy saving a baby, it's probably an AI video. And the reason why I do that is not because there's something harmful about an AI puppy saving an AI baby, but it's so that when the politician is deepfaked with the same technology, you will recognize it. Like when there's just some, like today I saw, an AI video of the Louvre being robbed, and it was, I can immediately identify that just looks like a Sora AI video, because I've seen so many Sora AI videos of puppies saving babies that when something comes out that's disinformation, now the reason that this Louvre heist video was made is probably because of the skin color of the people that were robbing the Louvre. That's what you should know about that, right? So that is disinformation, right? That is someone saying this race of person robbed the Louvre, and that one now has like 10 million views on Instagram right now, right? If you are looking at the puppies saving the babies and you can pick up the patterns there, then you can pick up the disinformation that comes out. So that's really what I'm about. I'm about starting with something accessible, something people live every day, and transitioning people over into more of like, why is this being made? Why, how are they trying to engage with me? Really comes down less to pixel peeping for most people. But I think that, people who are more production or camera ready, just catching up on the AI tells and being able to just quickly identify them, pick up an AI vibe, I think is going to be a very necessary skill just moving forward.
So the moral of the story is that if you're a real fat guy and you're delivering, do not go up to a thin front porch made out of wood. It's like,
okay.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Well, I know we're close to signing off here, but when you were talking about this and this sort of like scary video that, made people, it made me think about Orson Welles and War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
With, that radio broadcast actually happened and it caused people to freak out.
Well, and also the other thing is, I presented that as a very like negative way that people start losing grips with reality. But the most likely way that this actually happens is that the AI makes us feel pleasure, or convinces us that this world of puppies saving babies is somehow better than our own. And it slowly just kind of pulls us in that direction.
We're in the Matrix now.
Well, and that is so just yesterday I debunked, it's my most viral debunk yet. I debunked a video of like an evangelical pastor preaching something that was, I would say very, very woke, and a bunch of, very leftist people retweeted it because they were super into it. They're like, oh my God, there's this Alex Jones sounding guy who's preaching the truth, right? It was a pretty clear AI video, but they just turned off that part of their brain, right? And now there are a bunch of their followers that have some sort of frankly false hope that there's this like Southern preacher who is doing this, right? Like that's how we start to lose touch with reality. It's not going to be them enslaving us or dominating us. Probably it's just going to be by slowly pleasing us into something, so I just, and hopefully like we can just use that as a way to remember to just get off your phone, get off the computer, play with your dogs, say, call your loved ones, right? Like that's my goal. I oftentimes worry that I'm keeping people on their phones and telling them it's like, oh no, you can stay on your phones. It's okay. But that's really not the solution.
Just stay on for my podcast, then put it down.
Yeah.
And I think that recognizing these innocuous AI videos or seemingly innocuous AI videos isn't just about catching the lies. It's about maintaining the world's shared reference for what is real. Yeah. And I think that's really important because again, when that erodes, truth becomes negotiable. I think I said that earlier. And every institution that depends on evidence, whether it's journalism, justice, history, science, you name it, it can start to wobble. And I think that's really important to keep that in mind.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that, just by, like you said, by looking at things that might seem innocuous, like I think we can really just it gives us an idea of where the technology is, just straight up. It's like a good check of like, this is what AI videos look like. I should be aware of this. And then, I know we haven't talked about this too much, but, push for more transparency in tech, push for, laws that require watermarking and transparency. California just recently did pass one that requires AI companies to answer if their AI created a video or not. Like, I think that, there are steps in those directions that are worth advocating for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And like you said, once in a while, after you listen to this podcast and share it with 100,000 of your closest friends, put it down and go outside, take a break, but not until after you finish listening to this podcast.
Exactly.
That's the real solution.
Right.
Yeah.
So great
Repost.
having you, man. You are intriguing, and I can see the piano in the background. You're probably talented on more than one level. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, used to be a piano teacher.
Did you
That's
really?
where it all comes from. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
I would love to have you back on again and learn more about you as a person.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and there's
Yeah.
going to be more to talk about because this seems to be a steep
Yeah.
incline and more.
This isn't going away. I'd
No.
be happy to come back on whenever there's a new model. We should get back on. And
Oh,
talk.
we'd
That'd
love
be
to
great.
have
I love
you.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you guys.
All right.
Talk later.
Take care.
Oh my God. I learned so much. That's why I didn't ask a lot of questions. I mean, I was letting you kind of control this because I was just absorbing all this stuff. I mean, it's really incredible, and it's something that affects everyone, not just people who are like me, who's a voice actor who's worried about AI, but it can affect our society in positive and negative ways. But you got to know what's real and what isn't, and we're being constantly manipulated on so many different levels. It's nice to know there's someone out there who's kind of looking out for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I view AI as just another tool in the bag.
Yeah.
From my profession, I use it in some ways, but I don't have any need to try to manipulate people doing it. But when I get things that are sent to me, like, again, even if it's just like some animal jumping on a trampoline, it's like, it may look cute, but I just don't care because
Right.
first of all, I can tell it's fake.
Right.
It's just stupid. Like, so, I mean, that's subjective.
That's
I
why
know.
I stick with fart videos, because you can't fake a fart.
No, not even with a whoopee cushion or a fart machine or just a sound effect. All right.
Darren.
You're a walking fart machine yourself.
I
buddy.
am. I am the king. Hey, it was so great hanging out with you. Hopefully next time I'll have a little bit more organization in my life, but it's been upside down. But it's fun, and I'm really enjoying my time so far in Bloomington, and I hope you're coming into town soon. Your sister and I would love to see you.
I can't wait to see you guys.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Till next
Love
time.
you. Later, dude.
Later, dude.
Tom and D.
Two middle-aged idiots.
This podcast is produced by 224 Media with voice and audio support by Fry on the Fly Productions.